Hey all, good morning. It's Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, N to the E to the D over at MPD. I am running Michelle free today because she is in Mindanao visiting her family, which is kind of ironic considering the topic of today's videos. Briefly, we're going to be talking about Filipino badasses, to wit, the Moro tribesmen and the development of the Colt 1911 .45 caliber automatic pistol. The genesis, the start, and the need for the Colt 45 1911 became apparent during the Philippine-American War, which ran approximately 1899 to 1902. 1902 was the official cessation of hostilities for the main war. Unfortunately, nobody told the Moro down in southern Mindanao, and they kept fighting on until about 1913. Southern Mindanao also is where actually I watch Sporting News, and the reason I came across this was because somebody had mentioned it on the forum about how badass Filipinos are, and I did a little bit of research, and it's pretty interesting because there's this gentleman named Manny Pacquiao who's going up against another gentleman named Floyd Mayweather in a boxing contest, and I watch that. I follow that stuff pretty religiously, and they were talking about how badass the Moro and people from southern Mindanao are. And in case Floyd Mayweather hasn't been notified, Manny Pacquiao is from southern Mindanao. So this is something to keep in mind. Anyways, during the Philippine-American War, officers carried the 1892 Colt .38 caliber revolver. It was a double-action revolver. Unfortunately, against the Moro, who are rather small people, they're rather diminutive, as at least compared to Westerners, especially like Westerners nowadays. Hello America, I used to be 260 pounds, I feel your pain. They weren't really successful with the Colt .38. It didn't have enough stopping power. And there were numerous reports of Moro tribesmen being shot multiple times, sometimes 10, 15 times, and still being able to hack apart Americans with their crease knives. This isn't a crease knife, this is a bolo, but you get the idea. So word went back to Washington, to the Pentagon, and they started developing. They grabbed this guy named John Browning who worked for Colt at the time, and they're like, dude, we need a bigger gun. We need something with more stopping power. The .38 just ain't cutting it. It got so bad that there were so many complaints about the inadequacy of the .38 that the United States military actually took the Colt 1873 .45 caliber revolver, which was last used in the Plains Indian War, I believe. Dusted them off, greased them up, oiled them, shipped them over to the Philippines because that was basically the only thing that was really adequate, had the adequate stopping power to deal with the Moro tribesmen, who are, and still continue to be, pretty much Filipino badasses. The Colt .38 was soon relegated to mothballs. 1911 came out. The 1911 .45 caliber pistol, the automatic, wasn't actually used in the Philippine-American War. It actually was first utilized in the difficulties we were having with Mexico after that time. But they took the .38 caliber revolvers and replaced them with the older 1873 .45 caliber revolver. And the reason we're talking about this, again, we're talking about Filipino badasses. The Moro, southern Mindanao, and Filipinos in general, Mark Munoz, the Filipino wrecking machine, are pretty much badass. They're smaller in stature than, most Westerners and all that stuff, but again, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And I'm bringing this up and we're talking about this because on May 2nd, 2015, at the MGM Grand Arena, Floyd Mayweather better have 45 calibers and his 8-ounce gloves and not bring his .38 calibers if he intends to have any chance against Manny Pacquiao. Filipino badasses. It's more fun in the Philippines. See you next time. This is Ned over at MyPhilippineDreams.com.